What's good, family? It's your boy, Urban Sports Guru. Let me give y'all my mock draft. I've been working a lot on this. Didn't want to give it to y'all too early, like I've done before. Then so much shit will transpire. Trades will happen. Certain trades will happen, especially when you're dealing with quarterbacks. And here we got a lot of quarterbacks. So whenever there's a lot of quarterbacks, that's what brings more intrigue to the draft. It brings more question marks. You don't know who's gonna do what. Got you. I'm gonna walk you through this. First pick, Trevor Lawrence. That's easy. I think it's very, very easy. The intrigue there is going to be Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer, he's now coaching in the NFL. Seeing how that's going to work next season. But as far as the draft, very easy. Getting the chance to coach Trevor Lawrence is one of the big reasons I think why he finally took the job, took an NFL job. You get a chance to coach somebody he was probably recruiting, try to get to come to Ohio State. He's seen, Trevor Lawrence since high school, so real easy. This is where the draft gets tricky. The Jets pick two. Now, there are a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. I don't think any of these quarterbacks are going to be busts. Let me just say that. I don't see any of these quarterbacks be a bust. However, I do believe that more young quarterbacks are ruined than made because of the situation. I do think the last regime when the Jets fucked up Sam Darnold, even though y'all know I'm not the biggest Sam Darnold fan. I'm actually really not. I think he would have been an average quarterback at best, but I don't even think he had the opportunity to even be average with what they do or didn't do for him. But the fact that the Jets seem like they're going to take Zach Wilson, who I think is a very, very talented young quarterback. Great arm talent. He makes throws off platform. And he gives you a feel of kind of like I don't know, the comparison is to Mahomes and Brett Favre. And Mahomes is kind of like a diamond in the rough. You know what I'm saying? Some people saw the talent, but he thought it was raw. Sat him for a year, and the rest is history. Is the most talented quarterback we've ever seen. And now this is like, okay, people want to be the head of the curve instead of like Mahomes, they were behind the curve. There's a lot of teams that passed on him, namely Chicago, who traded up and traded past him to take someone else and not instead of taking him, and they're kicking themselves in the ass for it. But that's another topic for the day. However, the Jets are in place and it looks like they're gonna take Zach Wilson. I got a feeling they're gonna regret it. Not because I don't think Zach Wilson's gonna be good. The fact that they're not gonna take Justin Fields. Justin Fields has been every bit as good as Trevor Lawrence since high school. Trevor Lawrence is about a millimeter better, millimeter more talent physically. I think he reads defenses better than Justin Fields. Justin Fields, I know that you hear a lot of things about going off the first read, but when you play for Ohio State, your first read is always open. Um, the first read is always open when you play for a team like Ohio State. I mean, that's just what it is. The fact that it seems like they're not taking Justin Fields. And I think 5 years from now, they're going to live to regret that. However, you're going to take Zach Wilson. Then we got San Fran at 3. This is where the draft gets real tricky. Because I think Justin Fields is suffering from the Dwayne Haskins syndrome. Because guess what? Dwayne Haskins played in that same offense. And you saw him drop. And everybody, including myself, thought this was blasphemous. We all thought this was the craziest shit in the world. And I don't think he was given a proper go. But I also think he fucked up a lot of his own opportunities in Washington. Maturity. It makes me really glad because it seems like right now Daniel Jones is a lot better. And if you couldn't handle being in DC, when you're a DC kid, how the fuck you was gonna handle being in New York? How the fuck was he gonna handle being in New York? I'll leave that alone. I wish him the best in Pittsburgh. It's a damn shame. It's only 2 years in. Now he's backing up in Pittsburgh, and they talking about they need a different quarterback. I mean, he's not even being thought about. Damn shame. I know the 49ers want to take Mac Jones, but the simple fact that you expended all this draft capital, I think they're more likely to take a Justin Field or Trey Lance. In my mock draft, I'm thinking they're going to take Trey Lance. I say that because they might not be able to find such a trade partner for Jimmy G, which means they'll have to keep Jimmy G for another year. Let him groom. Let Trey Lance sit. I think that's going to be the best situation because Trey Lance is raw. Justin Fields. Mac Jones, I think Mac Jones is a way for them to zig where everyone else is zagging. And if you pay attention to the way quarterbacks have come out the last few years, everybody talks about how, oh, so mobile. But then when it comes to the games, what do you hear is the game plan? Keep him in the pocket. 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 That's crazy to me when your game plan for the quarterback is just keep him in the pocket. That's basically saying you're not smart enough to find the open guy and just deliver the football. That's exactly what that is. We don't respect you to be fast enough, witty enough to find the open guy, and deliver the football accurately. That's basically what that is. And I think Shanahan wants to zig where everyone else is zagging, because those kind of quarterbacks that end up that being the game plan for them, he's dealt with that. And when he had a damn good quarterback who wasn't that, he was a pocket guy. His name was Matt Ryan. And through his own bad play calling, they're not Super Bowl champions. So I think he wants to go Mac Jones, but conventional wisdom, if you're going to trade up like that, you got to kick somebody who's a physical talent. And you have to teach that shit in him. So Justin Fields in that situation would be awesome. Whoever lands in San Francisco is going to have the best first 5 years. Just mine. Because they're loaded. They have the best offensive line in football. Best over there, they signed Alex Mack. You still have Mike McGlinchey. You have the best left tackle in football. I mean, that running game, Kyle Shanahan. You have 2 targets. You have one of the best tight ends in football. Right now, I have Trey Lance, and I think he's going to have a chance to sit. Now, at number 4, I have the most talented player in this draft, and that's with Atlanta drafting Kyle Pitts. The tight end, I don't even call him a tight end, he's just a freak of nature, 6'6", 240, runs 4'4", and strong enough to bench 2 1/4, 20 plus times, which you normally don't see with guys that are built long like that. I know there's talk now about them trading Julio, which I'm not completely surprised by, because when you saw all these veterans getting cut, I thought we was going to see that with Matt Ryan and Julio. I genuinely thought that was going to happen, because Calvin Ridley, I think he's still on his rookie deal. So I genuinely thought that was going to happen. But that didn't happen. So if you get rid of Julio, I mean, I thought that was going to happen just if I knew coach you're going to clean slate and rebuild. But it didn't happen. If you're going to keep Matt Ryan, then you got to keep Julio. Keep Julio. Draft Kyle Pitts. You have Calvin Ridley. You have a pretty good old line. You just don't have the running game. A lot of people like myself been hot on them for the last couple of years because it seemed like they was finally going to get the running game back. They haven't been able to get the running game back. But if you get Kyle Pitts, if you could draft somebody in the second round, there's a bunch of running backs in this draft. In the second round, if ATN were to fall or Najee Harris was to fall in the second round, there's running backs in this draft in the second and third round. I'm just saying. Draft Kyle Pitts and dare someone to try to score with you. You can't cover Julio. Calvin Ridley's a monster. And this kid, Kyle Pitts, he's Darren Waller Part 2. He's such a matchup nightmare. Like, you can't cover this guy. You can't. I watched him against Alabama. And I paid attention, I watched him, and he looked like a man against boys. That's saying something when you're playing Alabama. Just saying. Now, A lot of talented receivers in this draft. At the fifth pick, we have Cincinnati. Now they should go after the tackle, but they have Jonah Williams that they can move to left tackle. Seemed like they wanted to do, and they went and signed tackle Riley Reef. Seemed like they got the tackle position taken care of. However, you have Penny Sewell there available, a generational talent at left tackle, and the fact that your quarterback is coming off of ACL after got his brains beat in. I think that would be smart. But he is lobbying for Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is probably the best receiver in this draft. Jamar Chase was his best receiver in LSU 2 years ago. And you have to replace AJ Green. It looks like that's where they're going to go with it. They're going to go Jamar Chase. That's at number 5. Now we got number 6. Now you decided to stay with Tua Tagovailoa. I can't argue that. Now you need to get him some weapons. I like the tight end Kaseki. You have Parker. But I think right now my favorite receiver in this draft, Devontae Smith. And I don't think he's getting the respect that he deserves. Everybody's talking shit about how light he is, only 160, maybe 170 pounds. You have to get your hands on him for that to be an issue. You got to get your hands on him. And if you don't get your hands on him, it's not an issue. And right now, you can't touch receivers the way you used to. Not the way you used to be able to. So, Devontae Smith, when I look at and I paid attention to him last year, and I looked at how defenses, because Jalen Waddle was hurt, defenses were keyed in on him. This is an SEC. Defenses are keyed in on him, and guess what? He still got open continuously without failing. He reminds me of a lot like Marvin Harrison. I think if you want to help your young quarterback, you draft that kid. Now that's at number 6. At number 7, we have the Lions. Lions basically lost all their receivers in free agency, so I think Jalen Waddle, the speedster, is a natural pick. Maybe they will go after offensive linemen here. You know, they had their coach talking about biting kneecaps and all that dumb shit. So maybe that would have been either Rashawn Slater or Penny Sewell. But as the way I have the draft, I think they're going to go after the receiver for the simple fact that they basically lost all their receivers in free agency. After that, we have the number 8 pick. And this is where I think it's going to get interesting. I think the New England Patriots trade up from 15 to 8, and they select Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones, just coming from Nick Saban to Bill Belichick just makes all the sense in the world. I think he's more what they want to do offensively, the process information, gets rid of the ball quick, knows what everybody on the field is supposed to do, does not make many mistakes, protects the football. That's the kind of guy they want. People say, oh, Bill Belichick doesn't trade up for quarterbacks. Bill Belichick's never been in this position before. He's never been in this position before, so he's been having to adapt, and I think he's going to adapt. And I don't think he walks out of this draft without a quarterback. If by some miracle maybe it's Jimmy G, or it's going to be Mac Jones, or if Justin Fields. May take Justin Fields. I think it'll be Mac Jones. Mind you, Nick Saban is his man. They're boys like that. I think it'll be Mac Jones, but could be Justin Fields. Just saying. After that, at 9, now Denver just made a trade today for Teddy Bridgewater. So it looks like Drew Lock has work cut out for him. I don't completely dislike Drew Lock. He had a good rookie campaign. Then the sophomore campaign last year wasn't really good. Was not really good. I think they get rid of young quarterbacks too quickly. I think they've compiled some Noah Fant and Jerry Jeudy, offensive line slightly better. They had the young running backs, and they got the running back from San Diego. But I think that just my humble opinion, I think they get rid of these young quarterbacks too soon. I was never the biggest Drew Lock fan, but I got to give credit was due, especially this rookie season. He reminded me too much of Jay Cutler, but rookie season he played well. Last year he didn't play well. Guess what? A lot of these rookie quarterbacks didn't have the rookies from the year before didn't have a real off season. They did not have a real off season. That has to be taken into consideration. Just think it has to. You have to take that into consideration. But I didn't think they was going to take a quarterback. Now they just traded for Teddy Bridgewater. They're damn sure not going to take a quarterback. They have a defensive-minded head coach, and this is where you start seeing the defenders get drafted, especially a guy like Micah Parsons, who's an absolute beast, who can do it everything. Great young linebacker, and this is why I think he gets selected. After that, we have Dallas at number 10. Now, Jerry Jones has flirted with the idea of trading up to get Kyle Pitts. He would have to trade up to get Kyle Pitts. There's no way the most talented dude in the draft is going to fall all the way to 9 right there before him. That's not happening. Now, in this scenario, in many scenarios, at least one of the two there are 4 really, really good tackles that are first round quality. There's Penei Sewell, generational tackle, Rashawn Slater. There's the Virginia Tech tackle Virginia Tech, Darrisaw, and then one I really like, Tevin Jenkins. I like him a lot. Now I told y'all during the season, what made Dallas great was their great offensive line. They invested enough in that offensive line. And they hit every single time. And then when they finally hit again, they drafted Zach Martin, who was a tackle in college, and put him at right guard. They had the best offensive line in football, and DeMarco Murray runs for 1,800 yards. This is not a coincidence. So the fact that they hit, and now you see the offensive line breaking down. Zach Martin is still that dude. But, Tyron Smith was once the best left tackle in the game. Now he could barely stay on the field. I thought they were going to cut him. I thought they were probably going to cut him and then draft Penei Sewell. Under this scenario, Penei Sewell's there available. Now, I think they should go defense. I think the smart move is to go defense. The defense is horrible. And everybody thinks this scheme is going to make so much of a difference. There's no way to go but up. The defense is god awful. Getting Kyle Pitts would be stupid because, yes, he's a matchup nightmare. He's going to make any offense better because there's no one way to cover him. You can't cover him with a linebacker. You can't cover him with a safety. You can't cover him with a corner. He's too big. He's too fast. Too athletic. Nimble in his route running. I don't think they're going to be able to trade up to 4 for Atlanta unless they give Atlanta the boatload. However, the problem with that is even if they do draft Penei Sewell, it makes the offensive line great. They haven't got rid of any of the tackles, particularly the left tackle Tyron Smith, who's a little older now. I think they did do that. They'll put their offensive line back up there, and they'll have that dominant line again for Zeke and for Dak. Whether they take Sewell or Rashawn Slater. Smart money also would be for them to go defense and take Patrick Surtain. I'm just saying. I got them taking Patrick Surtain, but I'm just putting that energy out there. Now we have my Giants. And I did another video about this previously. I'm just going to reiterate. Under this mock, and under many mocks that you see on networks, the tackles are just still available at this point. Now, if y'all know anything about my New York Football Giants, we have had offensive line issues for the last 10 years. Thomas had the highest floor, in my opinion, of the guys he drafted. Of the guys that got drafted last year, there's a lot of good tackles in last year's draft. So I'm not going to completely bash him for that. Mekhi Becton at the highest ceiling, and he looks like he's the best out of all of them. Um, I personally would have took the guy that Tampa took. I'm forgetting his name right now. The athletic tackle that Tampa took. However, Thomas, let him get an off season. Let me see what he got. But in this situation, if he is available, Dave Gettleman, if you do not take Penny Sewell, I think you should get fired on the spot. If you want Daniel Jones to be successful, if you want Saquon Barkley to be successful, you take Penny Sewell right here. You take Rashawn Slater right here. No questions asked. Yes, J.C. Horn, the corner out of South Carolina, I would like to have him. Yes, Jalen Waddle, if he was to fall here, I would like to have him. But damn, you get a chance to finally fix this fucking offensive line. I understand you still have Nate Solder. Fuck him. Fuck him. I don't care. I don't care about his feelings. I don't care about his feelings. You take Penny Sewell. End the story. Next, we have Philadelphia at number 12. Now, the funny thing here is about here's Philadelphia wants to draft a receiver. Now, there's a bunch of receivers in this draft. The crazy shit is the top guys a receiver are probably going to be gone by now. Jalen Waller probably is not going to be here by now. I don't think he's going to be here. Now, not Jamal Chase, damn sure ain't going to be here. Kyle Pitts ain't going to be here. So you traded down. Now you wanted a guy now to talk about them trading up. This is why I think they're going to trade out. Because guess what? Justin Fields is still available. And just like the Patriots need their quarterback, Chicago Bears need theirs. And I anticipate here to be the spot that the Chicago Bears trade up and give up the farm. Philadelphia has a lot of holes to fill. A lot of holes to fill in that football team. They give up the farm. And Chicago takes Justin Fields. That's just my take. Next we have 13. The Los Angeles Chargers. And they're going to do the smart thing. Rashawn Slater is available. You have a great young quarterback. They're going to draft Rashawn Slater. End of story. No more thought needed. Now, Minnesota defensively. This was a team that defensively was very, very loaded these past few years. And they lost a lot in free agency. Then last year, they lost a lot to injury. And they're going to have to start to rebuild that defense. And I think it's going to start with Jalen Phillips out of Miami. Because Danielle Hunter, he was injured. I hope he comes back in his 100%. If he comes back in his 100%, match him up with Jason Phillips. Now you have bookend pass rushers again. It's a step in the right direction. A step in the right direction. Down you have New England, who, in my thing, they make a trade with the Panthers. Now the Panthers are now looking to make their pick, and now they get something that can help boost this offense. Boost that offense, and this is why I think they take a running back, Travis Etienne. I think he's the first running back to go off the board, not Najee Harris. Next pick, I got Arizona going after the corner to replace Patrick Peterson, taking J.C. Horn out of South Carolina. Next, 17th pick, we got the Raiders. Raiders, they've had a lot of first round picks, and some of them, especially defensive ones, not panned out. I expect them to go defense again because they got to fix that defense. The defense is fucking horrible. And this is where they take Kwity Paye. Now, they took Colin Farrell, I'll mess up his name, with the 4th pick, if not last year, the year before. And he has not been Nick Bosa. He has not been that. So they still need a edge rusher, and this is why I think they go after Kwity Paye. Now, after that, we have Miami taking with another first round pick, and this is where they're going to have to go offensive line. You have a young quarterback, especially a small young quarterback. You have to protect them. This is why I think they take the guard out of USC, Elijah Van Tucker. Really good run blocker. I like him a lot. They're going to take the guard. Washington needs a tackle. Christian Darrisaw went to Virginia Tech. Grew up a Redskins fan. I think it's a perfect match. Redskins, the Washington football team, takes the tackle. Philly, Philly then are traded back. Philly then, I think then they get a receiver. They get Elijah Moore. Indy needs a tackle. Why? The left tackle retired. Now, if the Giants wanted to trade back from 11, my Giants wanted to trade back from 11 and take Tevin Jenkins, I'd be happy with that. Get some extra picks. You could trade back into further back into the teens, and you could still take Tevin Jenkins without a problem. Because I think Tevin Jenkins, I got him going 21 to Indy. I think he'll be all the way to maybe a little bit further down. But I think he's going to be a great young tackle. Mark my words, because there was no combine, I think there's going to be more gems that fall late in the first round, that fall out of the first round into the second, third, fourth round, because there hasn't been as much scouting, and also guys that did not play. Mark my words, I think he's a top 10 talent, and he's going to fall in this draft. Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. Played the year before, 15 sacks. I'm quietly hoping he falls out of the first round. Why? Because I want my Giants to take him early in the second. Just saying. 22nd pick, Tennessee. You didn't pay Adoree Jackson. You have holes at corner. Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech, I think, is a smart pick. You don't get able to get the receiver you want to replace Corey Davis, but at least you can get the corner to replace Adoree Jackson. You can get receivers later in the draft. Jets later, the second first round pick, I think they take the linebacker out of Notre Dame, Jeremiah. I don't want to fuck his last name up. This kid is a stud. And also you gotta understand they have a defensive head coach, Robert Salah. I think it makes all the sense in the world. Pittsburgh 24. They desperately. I think if Tevin Jenkins is there, you take him because they need offensive line help like a motherfucker. If Christian Darrisaw is there, you take him. They need offensive line help like a motherfucker, but they also need running back help. And Najee Harris is there, and I got them taking Najee Harris. I think it makes all the sense in the world. I think he's an all-world back that they need. I think they have to be able to run the football better than they did last year. I don't think they're gonna be anything close as what they did last year because I don't think Big Ben is gonna. He surprised me the fact that he lasted all 16 games. I don't see him doing that 2 years in a row. Just saying. Next we have Cleveland. Cleveland's pretty stacked. They're stacked on the O line. They're stacked. They're stacked. They went and got some safeties. When their corners are healthy, they're good. They could have depth at corner, but the top corner's just been taken. I expect them to get some depth on the defensive tackles and get the tackle out of Alabama, Christian Barmore. Now we have Baltimore. Baltimore, I think they go Rashad Berman, or they take the other LSU receiver. One of the two. I think Rashad Berman because I think they're going to want a big guy with size. But they're definitely going to go receiver. I don't see no way in hell they don't take a receiver. And they get this extra. They have an extra pick in the first round because they sent the tackle to KC. That's how you fix offensive line, by the way. But anyway, I'll leave that alone for now. New Orleans, I think they're going to take the best player available, and due to the fact I think they lost Jack Rabbit through free agency, they had to make cuts. I think they take Gregory Rousseau in the second as a replacement for Jack Rabbit. Now, Green Bay. Now, everybody's been talking about what the Packers going to do. Are they finally going to do right by Aaron Rodgers? And I think they are. I think they have no choice. If Jeremiah, the Notre Dame linebacker, if he happened to fall down to this low, they'll definitely snatch him up. Most definitely, without question. If Caleb Farley were to fall this low, I think they will snatch him up. But according to my mock, I think they have absolutely no choice. You better get that man a fucking receiver. You better do it. And I think they get him a receiver. They give him the receiver out of Florida. Kadarius Toney, whatever his name is. I don't want to fuck that up. Now, next we have the Buffalo Bills. which are kind of laced talent wise at many different positions. However, they could use an additional pass rusher, additional edge rusher. This is why I have them taking Ronnie Perkins. Ronnie Perkins out of Oklahoma. And Baltimore with another first round pick. I see them. Matter of fact, Packers might take this guy, Zaven Collins. Zaven Collins is an all world stud. He is an all world stud. He basically, he is a lot like Micah Parsons. I think he has more pass rush ability, but he's a lot like Micah Parsons. The Packers wanting to fix the defense. Zaven Collins might be hard for them to pass up. And the fact that they don't listen to Aaron Rodgers, they might not do it. But if Baltimore with 2 first round picks, Zaven Collins is there, they're not passing him up. They're going to snatch him up with one of these 2 first round picks. Bet that shit. Then we got Tampa. Tampa, they re-signed Antonio Brown. They pretty much have everyone that they want back. They have the whole band back together. They re-signed everybody. I would like to see if everyone could be healthy the way they were last year. I have my doubts about that. Gronk was healthy for the whole year. Nobody saw that coming. For example, I don't think Gronk could be healthy for a whole another year. That's just not what he does. Gronk is often injured. Just saying. But you have OJ Howard coming back, and they just have depth all over the place. Depth at running back, and depth on the line, and depth at tackle. But they made the most defensively being able to rush your quarterback. And one thing I know, being a Giant guy, that's how we got our Super Bowls. And you can never have enough pass rushers. So I expect them to take Joe Tryon, the pass rusher out of Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit the like. Make sure you hit the subscribe. It's me, your boy, your sports guru. Just gave you my entire mock draft for the first round. Hit me in the comments. Let me know what you think. I'm out. Salute.